proceeding today. I do not have a ruling on the motions. I'm still reviewing case law, but I should be able to have a specific ruling after lunch today. And so just as a reminder, we are engaging in social distancing. People should be sitting in their designated seats. Be mindful as you are moving about the courtroom of other folks, wearing your protective face covering, using sanitizer, and don't hesitate to use that or ask them what to pass it to you if we are in the middle of a hearing. Don't have any other notifications for this morning. So are we, Mr. House, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Judge. I just have a very brief remark to make to the court as we start this sentencing proceeding with victim impact statements. And all I want to say is that the court and the court staff has been generous with their time and their energy in order to get this proceeding off the ground and happening today. I think I speak on behalf of I know the people with whom I work and the people from whom we're about to speak that effort is not unnoticed. In fact, it's greatly appreciated. And I don't want to take any more time because this is about what we're going to hear from the victims today, and so I'd like to just get started with that. The first person that would like to address the court is Ms. Deidre Esther. Okay.
Her supporter can come up and sit in the front seat of the jury box. Does anyone need an oath for any of the statements that will be introduced today?
I don't believe that an oath is necessary.
You can move that to chair. Sorry. We'll move that. Good morning, Ms. Hester. Mr. House.
Good morning, Ms. Hester.
Good morning.
As you know, this is your opportunity now to address the court and the defendant and let the court and the defendant know how the crimes that were perpetrated against you, that you were subjected to, have affected you, and what you hope for out of this proceeding. And I'm not going to say anything else. It's your turn to talk now. Please go ahead.
To the jurors and the community, thank you, jurors, for seeing past all the lies and the false accusations made towards the victims. Thanks to you, my hope in humanity has been restored. I was praying every night that good would prevail over evil. For 3 years, we, our community, and the victims have been waking up, hoping to come closer to the end of this senseless tragedy. Today is finally here with a 12 unanimously votes from the people of our community that you are guilty. To our community, thank you for the beautiful, amazing resistance and support. Through this, we have changed the narrative and came hard and strong to represent our community. Ricky, Des, and Taliesin are heroes. We will continue to fight until everyone, like Jeremy, is off the streets and they are not welcome here. We will not stop until we are treated equal. We will set the tone that no racism, no police brutality, no killing us, no justice, no peace. These are our streets and we demand equality. To the system. This just us system, white supremacists came up with to oppress us has been going on far too long. I blame the system for creating and facilitating people like Jeremy, and then we, the community, have to deal with them. Because of this system, our community was ripped and dealt a harsh reality of how white privilege is and used and abused. Our community is being victimized over and over again by the system, and we are paying for it financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is no help from the mayor, governor, Congress, judge, people, just more victimizing us over and over again. Broken promises, tear gas, police brutality, not speaking for the victims. Our community is tired, and you're going to be held accountable. We hold you, Ted Wheeler, accountable for our community having to endure such oppression from people like Jeremy Christian. We blame you, the state officials, for continuing to treat us inhuman. We blame everyone that took part in this corrupt system. Your life for 2 lives, you should die. This shows us how evil and inhuman the people in power treat our community with such hate and disregard. We're going to get all of you out of office and elect people that love our community and live in our community. We will not stop until we are treated equal. To the police have a long track record for being KKK, and it's true. Police can kill us, rape us, lie on us, and have a whole system to justify what they do to us. Nothing ever happens to the police that are abusing their authority. We have to suffer at their hands and not question them. In my case, the white supremacist got special treatment from the police. The police officer Gatsby believed the assault was made by the assailant. He didn't believe me or the 2 TriMet supervisors that pointed Jeremy Joseph Christian out and told him that he assaulted me. He refused to detain the assailant, and he let him walk away, knowing who he was. The officer asked me for my ID and treated me like I was the assailant because of my color. The officer let Jeremy walk away to commit the senseless murders while looking for me on the green line because I maced him. The police captured, not killed, a racist white supremacist known to the police, holding the bloody knife he attacked and killed people with while drinking wine from his Gatorade bottle. Police murder us unarmed every day, all day, with the green light from the president, governors, mayor, police, and the corrupt community leaders. We will fight to dismantle this corrupt system. We are not going for this anymore. We demand that everyone that has been against the people to resign. These are our streets, and we're taking them back. To the judge, Ms. Albright, you have abused your authority to the fullest in this entire case. I have been to every hearing for 3 years, and you have given the assailants a green light to treat us with just such disregard. When the victims and family members read their statements in court in June, asking you to have the trial in June, you decided that you would have the trial in January in disregard of our feelings, in disregard of us wanting to get on with our life. That was the decision you made. When the assailant lunged at me and yelled at me, liar, you allowed it. When the assailant yelled out, Demetria has to keep getting on TV lying in court, you said, technically, we were not incessant. You allowed it. When the assailant kept blurting out in court after giving the instructions not to blurt out in court, he did it, and you did not address him. When the assailant winked at me in court, I was told he was winking at his mom by the officers. You allowed it. When the assailant refused to stand up when instructed to stand up in court after he was found guilty, you allowed it. When the assailant waved and smiled, trying to intimidate the young American ladies that were testifying, you allowed it. When I was outside on my lunch during the trial, you came up to me while I was doing an interview with Don't Shoot Portland organizers and said, don't forget to talk to the jurors, not to talk to the jurors. Why did you feel like you had the right to say that to me? And then when I came and expressed how I felt to the state, they said you said something totally different. What gives you the right to talk to me outside of the courtroom? Nothing. But you did. And you lied to the state about what you said. All of these are examples of absolute abuse of power. You and everyone that has facilitated this travesty will be held accountable in this assault against the victims in our community. We, the community, want the mayor and everyone that's not for the community to resign. We need people of color that's for our community in office. We need our community in office to do what is best for our community, not people that are looking out for popularity and be noticed. We're going to stop you from using our deaths to capitalize and make a profit out of. We will not let you keep these people in office. You are not welcome here. And to Mr. Jeremy Christian, your mom should have swallowed you. You are a waste of breath. And when you die and go to hell, I hope you rot.
See you there, bitch.
No, hey.
Go back to Tennessee too.
What do I tell you?
Go back to Tennessee too.
You can.
We don't want you here.
Bye.
All your race baiting bullshit. You ain't gonna be mayor either, bitch. You ain't gonna be mayor either, bitch. You fucking hoe. You fucking hoe. You fucking the whole city. George Floyd. George Floyd. I should have killed you, bitch. I should have killed your bitch ass. Everybody knows you're alive. Everybody knows you're alive, huh?
Quiet. We're in the court. He's gone.
That's the stuff
Thank
that
you,
you're
Ms.
talking
Esther. Did advise Mr. Christian that if he were to act out, he would be removed from the courtroom and he will be not coming back today. You ready to proceed? I want to note that his behavior today was especially egregious. And so he has forfeited his right to remain present for the sentencing. He refused to listen to the court's direction.
Judge, thank you. The next person that will be addressing the court is the mother of Taliesin Namkai-Meche. She's going to be appearing remotely. I think we're all set up for that.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Mr. Scholl. Before we proceed with that statement, I want to indicate for the record that Mr. Christian made it clear to us that he did not wish to be brought back for any portion of the sentencing proceeding. I'm only saying that now for purposes of further review in the future.
Okay, thank you. One question. Mr. Scholl, do you want to be present for pronouncement of judgment?
You're right.
I do not know the answer to that question.
What do you mean, how many times have you actually tried to get a work in court? I got it. Before we turn to this.
So can we, so she can be full screen? Okay. And how does she pronounce it? Or, good morning, Ms. Hudson. Right now, you're on just a thumbnail view, and so what we're going to try to do is make it so we can see you full screen. Okay. So it'll take us a minute or two.
Say it again?
The screen is the same as that screen.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever done this kind of proceeding this way, and so it's new to us, so thank you for your patience. She is everyone else is watching. Say that again?
Great.
Oh, voila, okay. Thank you. Okay, so, Mr. House, if you want to introduce Ms. Hudson.
Ms. Hudson, can you see me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Great. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. As you know, this is your opportunity to address the court. My understanding is you're going to address the court for yourself and on behalf of Destiny and Malia. If that's true, then now is your opportunity. I'm not going to say anything. You can let the court know how these crimes have impacted you and your family, what you hope to see out of this proceeding today. Again, thanks so much for being here, and the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for having us. I have Destiny here with me. And just to bring up a few things prior to May 26th, I had two healthy young women, and when I say healthy, I mean physically, emotionally, mentally, in a good place. Just two young ladies just trying to enjoy life. For May 26th on, their life has changed dramatically. And I've watched them decline and not really want to engage with the world anymore. And it's a lot of emotional distress, a lot of physical eating disorders, and just a lot of things that we deal with emotionally, insomnia, not being able to sleep, dealing with death threats, and not knowing who to trust, and not knowing who is who when we're out, and people just screaming their names and things like that. And so this situation has impacted all of us. I mean, even as far as my 8-year-old son, who is always asking, like, is somebody going to attack us? And so it's just been a hard 3 years. And I think for us, we just want to see justice served. We had the jury did a great job with coming up with a guilty verdict, and I know the judge will do her job as well. I just want to say that I don't know if life will ever be the same for them. It has been a very long and slow process, and then the way that the world is operating now, they're really scared to go outside. So this situation has really impacted them in a way so where they just don't really trust. And it's not about color, it's just about, like, Mom, he just doesn't look good. He doesn't look right. I think he's going to attack me, things like that. And so, but other than that, you can imagine the impact that it's had on the other families as well. And we're just thankful that God is still here, and that we have people to stand up for us, to stand up for them. We're so grateful that we don't have anything bad to say. We don't have any hard feelings against anyone. So that the right thing will be done has been done so far, and we're just looking forward to him going away so that my girls can finally know that that justice is served, and they can feel better about it and just go on with life. And that's our main goal right now, is just to get them back in the community, to trust again, to know that everyone is not right, and everyone. There are more solutions and Micah and Ricky Best than there are Jeremy Christian. So I just thank the court and I thank all of you guys for being here for us all this time and just helping us get through this and even the wait 70 days so that we didn't have to come out with all of everything that's going on. And yeah, and that's just pretty much what we have to say. And we just hope that, you know, we need the outcome that we are looking for. Thank you for allowing me to address the court.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Since I see Destiny sitting there, I should ask, Destiny, is there anything that you would like to say? It's good to see you.
Okay. Good to see you guys.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Thank you, Destiny. Our best to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. The next person we have to give a statement is Zeta Allen. She's here in person. She's probably coming from 5, so it'll take just a second to get her down here.
Okay.
Judge, lawyers approach the board in some appropriate fashion. Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Ms. Allen. It's nice to see you today. How are you?
All right, how are you?
It seems like the only time we get to talk is when you're up there and I'm back here. This is your opportunity to tell the court and everybody here about how the incident on May 26, 2017 affected you and how you feel now and what you hope to see happen going forward. So I'm not going to ask you a bunch of questions. This is just your opportunity to tell us anything you want to tell us. It's nice to have you here. You go ahead.
Will he hear me?
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Good morning. I'm one of the 7 victims Jeremy Christian has severely impacted. The night of May 26, 2017, I was at a loss. Back then, I felt like I didn't have the strength to move on with life, or the words to describe the unbearable pain he put me through. Even now, after 3 years and the age of 17, it still feels inadequate. And that's because words cannot replace my depression, my PTSD that you caused, or those who lost their husbands, dads, sons, brothers, uncles, and our cousins. The same time heals all wounds. I can never come to agreement with this quote. Time is not a killer, and it will never heal all wounds, especially the wounds I started to suffer with at the age of 14 and still deal, cope, and struggle with. All that remains now is grief, a lifetime's traumatic flashbacks that I'll never forget, that always will replay in the back of my head. A lifetime of what ifs, a lifetime of me missing the old day I once used to be. First day out of middle school, I wish I had felt like the happiest day. I found my world been flipped upside down. I was 14 at the time when you racially profiled me, Destiny, Malia, and Demetria days before, as well as killing 2 and attempting to take another. I witnessed someone's precious life taken in seconds. The weight of watching you, Jeremy, take someone's precious life has forever traumatized me. I'm alive because of Micah and Tilly intervened, and I cannot thank them enough. If criminal police would have done their job to serve and protect, you would have been arrested days before when you racially profiled Demetria, assaulted her, and yelled hateful things towards her. However, that goes to show how privileged you are. Jeremy, you are pathetic. You had the option to testify and did not even attempt to testify for yourself at your own trial. What a successful white privileged person you are. You have brought me to my lowest. Journey, you failed to realize that you tried to bring me down, tear me down, and knock a beautiful African-American, athletic student, honor student, an employee, and an entrepreneur, and you still lost. I not only survived a hate speech from a white privileged supremacist man, but I thrived, and I'll forever thrive. Although this kind of pain never leaves you, you just learn how to carry it. And for that, I hope you struggle, suffer, and have sleepless nights. And before I go, I'd like to thank those who have supported me from the beginning, as well as those who had my back and supported me every step of this way while reliving this traumatic experience.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Thank you, Judge. Judge, the next person I'd like the court to hear from is Bert Best. Bert.
Who's next?
We have additional seats that it appears people aren't reserving on those seats that they were reserved for. If people do want to be in the courtroom after lunch, they're welcome to stay or be here.
Thank you, Judge. I'll inform Ms. Thomas. Mr. Best, go ahead and come up there and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. by the events of May 26, 2017. It is your right, and it is our pleasure to have you here to tell the court about the impact that these crimes had on you and on your family and what you hope to see happen today. I'm not going to ask you a bunch of questions. This is your opportunity to tell us anything you want to tell us. Make yourself comfortable, and then go ahead. Take all the time you need.
I'm here to speak on behalf of my parents who couldn't be here because of the COVID issue. A few things about Ricky's life, his character. Ricky was a soldier, and he was a father, and his character, even though he was a soldier, even though he fought many battles for this country, he wasn't quick to rush into violence. He resisted violence. Even in the videos of the Max incident, Ricky waited. He didn't immediately jump in. And his character, he was a good father. He was active in his community. And he resisted that spirit of violence that comes over people. You get stirred into a frenzy, and that spirit of violence, the hate comes out. He resisted that. Yet he made a stand when justice needed to happen, when something needed to be done. He made a stand. I remember many stories when he would step in, and he would save the day. That was his character. He would step in and say, hey, this is not right. My father, his father, is still pretty torn up over it. He still weeps. As me and my mother were sitting down, we were talking about what to say, and the current times and everything, and we feel that we have a lot of great respect for people who stand for justice, who take a knee for justice, who fight against violence, or resist violence, is a better word to say. We ask the court to resist the spirit of violence and hatred by giving Jeremy Christian the full penalty consecutively for the crimes he committed, for the loss of lives, for the loss of the community, for the loss of security that was taken. As far as our hearts are concerned, we will continue to resist the spirit of violence, the spirit of hate. And so, we have a message for Jeremy Christian. Jeremy Christian, we forgive you. And we pray you will come to the full understanding of the peace that comes from the power of forgiveness, as one in Yeshua.
Thank you, Mr. President. Judge Eric Ricky Best's son is here, and I think you can speak to the court. Eric, make yourself comfortable. You have the opportunity to testify briefly in the trial, but this is a different opportunity for you. I I know you thought a lot about this, and we'd like to hear from you. So when you're ready, go ahead.
First, thank you for all members of the Multnomah court system who helped, to the best of their ability, bring Jordan Christian to justice despite difficulties from above, namely the incompetence and the lack of courage and vision that certain elements of the Oregon government did in hindering the prosecutor's ability to prosecute to the full extent that they saw fit. But the most important question here is, who was Ricky Best? You first have to ask that question to fully realize the true depth of what was lost. Ricky Best, my dad, was the type of man who showed through example radical ownership. One of my earliest memories of him was him picking me up from school, and he stopped in the parking lot of the school, just picks up a random Rice Krispie treat that some other kid left, and I was confused because in my mind I was like, why are you doing that? That's not your mess. It's not your responsibility. But he knew that for a healthy society, you have to have radical ownership and do more than your part. He was also a very active father in the sense that he truly cared. I remember one time in Hawaii, we were jumping on a trampoline after school, as kids do, and he was home tired from work, afterwards went to take a shower, eat dinner, and get ready for the next day. But he trudges up on the trampoline, and jumps for at least 30 minutes with us kids, and neighborhood kids just laughing, having a good time. So he was the type of man who understands that you have to be active in your community. You can't just sit past and laugh. He was also the type of man that understood wisdom and love. I remember throughout all our years growing up, every week he would carve out at least an hour for each of his kids to spend some little quality time just talking. He would just ask about how school was and how's your day going. And it was that constant, patient, understanding love that he was a great father. I would describe him as a brick in the field of society. Not the top with like the fancy ornate carvings, but somewhere in the middle, like maybe in the bottom, just mud and dirt, but still standing strong and doing his best to support everyone else. He was the type of man that saw fire being poured on gasoline being poured on fire. That's one of the witnesses really said. And couldn't just stand by and do nothing. To do nothing is to essentially let it happen. To do the act yourself if you have the capability to prevent it. So naturally, he was the type of man to sacrifice his life during harm from innocence. And I can't really fault him for that because he instilled the same ethos in me to the best of his ability. The sad part of all this is that there will be no catharsis, no magical moment where, oh no, the weight's lifted off your shoulder. There'll always be a bittersweet love. Alive in the good moments of life. The graduations, the birthdays, the holidays, where life is great, and you just turn like, hey, Dad, oh. All you see are just old shoes. See, the memories make you warm. They also tear your buttons down the inside. I may have lost a father, my mom, my brothers and sisters also lost a father, my mother, my husband, my grandparents, a son, my aunts and uncles, a brother. Society lost the type of man that you want during the hard times, the rough times. don't you get a rabid dog? It's just force of nature. It just happens. Though I do wish that the jurors and the judge, to the best of her ability, prevents him from ever harming another soul. Also, I got one more thing.
Take all the time you need.
I sincerely hope, like my Uncle Bert said, that every Christian finds the spirit of forgiveness instead of hate, but his past actions leave me rather disappointed in the possibility of redemption, and I hope that the jurors and the court take that into account, that he's like a dog. And I'm not cure for rabies yet. All I can do is put a bullet in them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not German Christian here, but I don't suppose he doesn't get along. Even though I think he'll be my redemption, so what will he will. Don't try.
Thank you. You can probably finish up for the morning.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time to break.
Is that,
I think it'd be a good time to break.
that's